Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I'm joining you this morning with a post-run protein concoction of protein, herbal adaptogens, BCAAs, and some electrolytes. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the recovery process when it comes to burnout. And when I think of burnout, and this is fundamentally when I do my coaching with healthcare professionals, largely what I focus on is prevention. But part of prevention is also identifying the reality that burnout is just around the corner, right? So in doing that, I think of the body, right? The human body, and how we exercise and we rest, we recover, we repair, and then we go at it again. And then we find during that cycle that we're building muscle, strength, endurance, things like that. So I want to chat with you a little bit about the 3 R's of burnout that I've come to notice and find over the last little bit. The first one is recovery. Okay, so recovery is a time where you are starting to see either burnout, like I said, just around the corner, or you're experiencing a mild degree of it and you just don't want it to get worse. And you're still at a state where you can kind of prevent it from getting worse. So at this point, you might be resting more. You might find yourself reflecting more. You might find yourself building a better relationship with yourself, reconnecting with yourself, because oftentimes when we begin to neglect ourselves, which is very common of us to do in healthcare, we start to become disconnected and we start to hit a point where we wonder, how the heck did we get where we are right now? So building a better relationship with yourself. And this is a time too in the recovery phase where you're looking at your basic biological needs as well. Are you drinking enough water? For example, are you eating enough? I've worked with people or chatted with people too over the years, and they get stuck, right? They get stuck in kind of a negative mindset. They get stuck in feeling disempowered, but they're also not meeting their basic biological needs. And if you can start there, you can then develop the energy to think more clearly, to move a little more, and start to build yourself back up again. So recovery to me is like reactionary, but it's also preventative depending on the degree of burnout that you could be experiencing. Like I said, there's 1st degree, 2nd degree, and 3rd degree. 1st degree is pretty mild, where maybe you need like a weekend to recover, and then you're fine the following week when you go back to work. Or 3rd degree is that you just absolutely cannot go into work no matter how much time you've had off. The thought of it is just dreadful and you actually have no energy for it. So the goal is always to try to prevent yourself from getting to the point where you've hit 3rd degree. Okay, the 2nd R is resourcefulness. So once you've been in recovery, you've been taking a closer examination of yourself, you're reflecting, you're a little more aware, you're more inward, you can start to be more resourceful. You can start to seek tools, strategies, ways to deal with everyday life as well as your professional life. And you start to implement these things because you start to find that it's what keeps you in a state of more positivity, right? More empowerment, more optimism. You're finding your relationships with others to be a bit better. So that's the 2nd R. You become more resourceful. And then once you've become more resourceful and you've integrated everything from your recovery to your resourcefulness, now you can actually build resilience. And resilience is basically your ability to adapt to any unforeseen or crisis type situation. So I recommend people practice resilience in their personal lives as well as their professional lives. So what do you do when crisis strikes? Do you get highly anxious? Do you find yourself unable to communicate and connect with people? I know for me, that's something that I've had to work on. I know that I can sometimes come across as being passive aggressive. I know that sometimes I can come across as internalizing and shutting down when I'm trying to process things rather than expressing where I'm at from how I feel. And by doing that, that's helped me to see the bigger picture and to empathize more by simply expressing how I feel. So those are the 3 R's, right? So it's recovery, resourcefulness, and resilience. And what I want you to think about when you think of these 3 R's is that one is not separate of the other. And when you start to become more resourceful and you see yourself becoming more resilient, that you don't lose sight of the recovery as well. So once you get to a state where maybe you're feeling good, you're at a point in your practice where things are going well, don't ever lose sight of those basic fundamental things you did in recovery that got you there. Because I think we have a habit of doing that, right? When we reach that point of joy, when we reach that point of success, when we reach that point of, we've made it, or whatever it might be, that fulfilling point in our lives, we sometimes then forget what brought us there. It's so important to stay integrative through all of that, okay? Those are your building blocks, and those are the things that you just kind of want always in place in some capacity before you can get to a point of resilience. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any interest in my coaching whatsoever, or if you're curious, you can simply DM me on Instagram at bestobsessed_with_Jen. You can reach out to me on Facebook at Best Obsessed or on LinkedIn under Jennifer George, and we could chat from there. But there's a lot of options that I have with my coaching right now. I do one-to-one coaching over a 7-week period. That's kind of my highest price point. But I'm also affiliated with other coaching platforms where I am offering coaching services at a much discounted rate as well. So if you want more information about that, I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest. And I'm hoping that people will step up to that because the price point's lower and the impact would be higher because your fulfillment matters, right? It all comes down to how much you're willing to invest in yourself. When we make an investment in ourselves, we tend to see it through. When we don't, there really is no incentive or motivation to keep going. So consider that. I mean, how many times have you invested in courses and things like that over the years? And they're super expensive, right? And you commit to them. But anything kind of self-guided, super low price point, you kind of don't give as much of a priority to. I know that goes for me, and I still do it though. I still invest in those low cost self-guided courses, but I've reached a point where I am now more disciplined to complete them because I'm more aware of that fact. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this podcast, please tag me on your Instagram stories and share it. That would mean the world to me. And as well, as usual, if you could leave a 5-star review on your podcast platform, that would be awesome. And let me know that you did, and I will definitely share it. So thank you guys so much again for listening. So I hope you stay well until we chat again, and stay happy. So if you guys like this podcast, please subscribe and leave an honest review. Your feedback means everything to me. Your reviews are what moves this podcast forward, and I always appreciate receiving them. If you want to get a hold of me directly, reach out to me on social media. My handles are in the show notes, and you can always subscribe to my weekly newsletters at jennifergeorge.co so that we can stay connected. So until next time, thank you guys so much again for your ongoing support.